on that.
I believe it. When I first moved here a little over a year ago, all types of different beings showed up to the
Hmm.
point where it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's calmed down a lot now. They still light up the roof and the trees, and there's different crafts and different beings, but I mean, all kinds of different beings were checking up on me. I
Hmm.
guess maybe because I wasn't as scared anymore, and also I had the video that I could see them now,
Yep.
So
Exactly.
it was interesting.
And so I think now too that you've embraced your gifts you have with communicating with entities like that. I
Mhm.
think it's coming a lot easier, just like it is for me or Lee to connect with spirits. And I'm pretty sure that we all connect with, since our Native American roots, that we connect with Native Americans and the sky people as well too. So
Mhm. Oh yeah, I believe that. I have one story. Can I share it about a craft up close that I saw?
you can say anything you want.
Okay. This was amazing. I was driving home. Well, my friend and I were drinking coffee and we started seeing these little fireballs fly over our car, and I said maybe we should go home. So I started driving home, and at night there was a huge cloud, probably 50 feet up, and a black helicopter stopped and shined its spotlight on it. And then I could see what was in the cloud, and it was a huge craft. And I saw the underbelly of this thing, and it had like pipes intertwined with each other, but they were as wide as the body of the helicopter. So that's how big this is, like a football field big.
Damn.
And I remember when I drove under it, there was no more sky. It was just the bottom of this thing. That's how big it
Oh wow.
was.
And blanked out the sky.
It
Oh,
did. It
damn.
was really close, really big. It hid in a cloud, which I found out I didn't know they could do that. And then I don't remember driving home. My friend doesn't remember any of it. But it's something I won't ever forget is the detail of it. It was odd to me. The plumbing or piping, I don't know. It was weird. But I think they stay over roads because I think they abduct people while they're driving sometimes. I do.
I think you're right.
I mean, it's easy access. It's like a buffet to them.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
No, it's not actually because you think about it as if the creatures have already seen what we do and what we look like. There's a lot
Right.
of them out there that haven't. So now they want to come in and see, okay, what's all the hoopla? Why do these other entities keep coming here? And what's so special about this planet? So I think they want their observation as well, or because they've heard so much about people like us that they want
Right.
to. I guess they want to see the clowns in the circus.
Right. The only thing that was a little scary to me, they didn't scare me, but what was scary is that the fact that they didn't fly away when the spotlight was shined on them,
Mm-hmm.
and that obviously the government didn't know about them because they were coming to check them out. So that was a little eerie to me, you know. But I think they were good. I just think that they were a strong race where they don't have to run. I think
Yeah,
they were just a different type of being.
and I think if they really wanted to, they could have messed with the helicopter if they wanted to and showed him. I think they knew that their technology was far more advanced than ours. It'd be like us trying to get scared of a little ant that has a knife. It's
Yeah.
like, well, that's probably what it looked like to them. It's like, okay, I could just swat this thing away and it'll be gone. But yeah, it's that is interesting. Or the other theory I've got on that is that they know about them and they were doing communication with them, so why they didn't attack each other. They
Right.
could have been passing messages uh, from their group to ours, because I do believe we've been working with aliens for 50, 60, 70 years now.
Yes.
um, we know the story about Eisenhower actually meeting the ones out in Nevada.
Mhm.
Several other presidents have had encounters with them, and some have not because they want to have a plausible deniability. But I think even the CIA's been working with them, like I said, 60, 70 years. So That's probably why we're getting a better influx now of sightings. Even governments is right now coming out and releasing videos. So, and why do you think all of a sudden we have a space command? We didn't had one forever, and all of a sudden, bam, space command's here. That's got to tell you something,
Right.
because U.S. government don't do nothing for a reason. They have a reason for doing everything.
Yes, I agree. It is strange. Is it okay that I drink name brand bottles on here or no?
We don't care.
Okay,
Go
some
ahead.
people don't like it.
Go
ahead.
Hey, if they want to pay us a sponsorship, come on. We'll put it on the show every day.
Thank
I
you.
know. Yeah. You got to have that perfect product placement. Have 4 or 5 bottles around. All I can do is show my Yeti cup. So here's my Yeti.
Mountain Dew.
Oh goodness. Yeah. Hey, they want to give us sponsors. We'll sponsor anyone that wants to come on there. Hey, that's check out.
Lee,
like
we can't hear you. We
What?
can't hear you, Lee.
Muted.
Oh, she's muted. Okay, I thought she couldn't hear me. You're still muted, Lee.
Oh, I have your show co-broadcast on 2 streams of mine.
Okay.
Lee's still not talking.
No, and you're not muted. I think
Don't
maybe
hear her.
did it get unplugged or
Lee, if you can hear, okay, I think she hears you.
She
Can you hear me?
There
Yes.
you are. What
I
you
hear
doing?
you now.
Okay. I was like, these people, they act like they can't hear me. I'll just be quiet. And then, sure
Aw.
enough, you couldn't hear me. I was like, okay. Well, here's my vitamin water. Ta-da! I love it.
Let's do this over. Ah!
Mountain Dew for you and Brandon. Yeah, you guys love Mountain Dew like I love vitamin water.
Oh, by the way, I'm simulcasting on 2 of my streams. I would like to add Twitter and my profile, but I have to get.
Well, I really appreciate you. Everybody that's listening, please invite your friends, tell your family, go to all of these different sources of social media. It will be on Roku tomorrow. So, and all of you that are subscribing on Roku, thank you so much for subscribing. We love you. And so you can always contact me, familyspirit.net. And I will let Blaine and Christopher and Brandon know, our motley crew, what your questions are. So,
I have a Roku account, so I'll sub to you as well.
well, thank you. Thank you. Now, question, where? So your dad, how old was he? I'm trying to pinpoint maybe where the origin story comes, because it sounds like you were born into it, So do you think has your dad spoken any? Oh, wait a minute, he's deceased.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before he passed, did he tell you anything about his mother or father having any episodes like this?
He would not speak about him. It was strange, really. So
Lala.
Okay.
Lala,
Well, your dad's here, of course. I hear
he
him.
will now.
No.
He will now.
I hear him because he's talked to me before.
He
His
wants
name's
you to
George.
ask George, yes. He wants you to, he said he will gladly talk to you now because you can hear him and he's not afraid to tell you anymore.
No.
And what he's saying, is he's been working on being a spirit guide. I told you that
Mhm.
before.
Mhm.
And he said he feels like the higher his energy got, the more visible he was. That his parents had the ability, of course, they never, that wasn't something they strived to do. But your father was a healer, I'm sure you know.
Mhm.
And he loved to hug people. He was always touching people, praying for
Yeah.
people, loving people. And I feel like there's some DNA connection there too. I don't know how that works, but I can see the energy inside of him and the energy inside of what is following him, nurtured him and love him. But here's the thing, the dimension that he's in, and aliens, being interdimensional, they would have to be able to travel as fast as they do, besides the fact they have alternate fuel sources and they know about wormholes and black holes and can navigate like that. I would think that your father would finally be able to communicate with the ones that followed him his whole life. Now, can you imagine?
Yep.
Maybe that's why, they follow you so closely. They followed him. He's with them, and they can follow you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't know. Just brainstorming, Blaine. What do you think about that?
All right, this is what I'm picking up on. All right,
I saw the face. I knew he was getting a message.
Lala, do you believe you were from this planet, or were you brought here?
They're brought here. I don't
Yes,
feel like
like
I belong.
that. Exactly. That's the next thing I was going to say. You don't feel like you belong here. What I'm seeing is,
I've got stuff sliding. Pardon me, y'all.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
You were very, your energy field is actually very upper echelon, like not like royalty type, but like right up on the royalty level.
Thanks. All right.
But yeah, you were, what was it? You were part of the ruling class of this. This is what I'm picking up on. It's weird for me. It's for you. That you, oh God, what were they called? You were part of
Uh-oh.
Nebrew.
Someone's gone.
I'll say it again. You went away.
I'm back.
There you are.
Blaine, say it again. You blooped out and came back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, say it again.
Okay. What I said is you were part of the upper echelon of society, and you were Anunnaki. You are Anunnaki, and your original planet was Nibiru.
You're not the first person to tell me about the Anunnaki, actually. That's interesting.
Well,
Blaine's right.
That's what I pick
Blaine's
up
right.
very strongly. The reason I pick up on this very strongly too is part of me and Lee's past lives, and we were oracles at Delphi. Well, the oracles actually got their information from the Anunnaki. And I do believe that you have given me and Lee both information as seers at Delphi.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
I feel very strongly about that.
That we could finally full circle get back together. That's so amazing.
I believe in that. I do.
Yeah, and you guided us in the right direction that we were supposed to go in. And like most humans, they didn't take a special interest because most Anunnaki were very jealous of humans because they were getting more attention. It's almost like the God angel story, the same thing, but I think that was stolen from Anunnaki. I really do. But yeah, you always used to give us the best advice, and it was always true advice, where some other ones were given what they wanted them to hear and what they wanted them to pass out. But with you always giving us the exact truth, never lying to us, we had better predictions, and life got better for us because we could tell this king, hey, don't go this war, or hey, you might want to go to this one and stop before you go any further, blah, 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 whatever we had to tell them. But yeah, I think it's because of you that we got the information we needed. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that we got to come back in this lifetime and talk to each other again.
Yeah. I do believe souls that either a soul family or friends, I think it's meant to be that we meet up again.
Every time. Yep.
Right. I do.
And it's funny how we always end up back in each other's lives. And it's like with this life, me and Lee and Matt ended up back together because I worked for his dad. He was my commander in the Air Force.
Oh, wow.
And then that was over 22 years ago. And when Elijah, her son, was just a baby, and I held her baby boy then. And it's like, then we started talking everything. It's like, God, why do I know you so well? And then it clicked. It's like, okay, we've had lives together, me, Lee, and Matt, it's like forever. And now you come back into the fold, which you've been a missing part of the fold. But comes back in full circle, and here you are. That's so badass.
It is.
And it makes sense about the Anunnaki, because I've been saved. My life has been saved more than once as a human. When I was little, my dad would travel a lot, so I would sleep with my mom in her bed when I had bad asthma attacks, right?
Mhm.
And I was sleeping. I started to get an asthma attack in my sleep. My mom woke up only because she heard footsteps going down the hallway. And when she looked up, some being was putting its hands over my body. And I started to breathe again. I stayed asleep, but I started to breathe again, and it faded away. And my mom didn't like talking about that. She didn't really want to believe in that, but she was being honest. It's something that scared her, but she was also so grateful for. So,
Well, Lala, you know,
Yeah.
this is something I
Wow.
know too. When the Anunnakis first got to Earth, they had trouble breathing because the atmosphere was different than their home planet.
I'm
So
allergic to everything.
yes, exactly, and
I am.
that's why that you were having you have breathing problems because it's so hereditary from the Anunnaki DNA line.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's like me. I can't. I'm allergic to like most pollens and stuff like that, and certain smells that makes me sneeze. Or
Yep.
but yeah, that's interesting though.
Grass, trees,
Yes.
humans.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah,
It's awesome.
I just wonder, because it's so hard for every human to live here, because we are numbed and dumbed down on purpose.
Yes.
And so maybe, is it because they don't want us to do what we're supposed to be doing here and they give us a harder time? I
They
always
want-
feel like I'm failing at doing what I'm
Okay,
supposed to
so
do.
you're not failing. That's what they want you to think. You're
Yeah.
doing exactly what you were meant to do. And you got to think of it this way. Okay. A lot of the Anunnaki that made humans, they made them pretty much where they go dig up the gold for them, because they had to have gold on the outside of their planet to make their atmosphere work. Well, there were a few that the Anunnaki actually made very smart and gave them all the knowledge that they had.
Mhm.
And what I've read and what I'm picking up on now too is most of the Anunnaki that conceived human children that made the DNA swap, they are 3/4 Anunnaki and a quarter human. So that you got the basic stuff like your bone structure and your blood and all that stuff, but everything else in you, all your molecules are Anunnaki.
Do you think that's called the junk DNA? Is that
Yes, yes,
okay?
yes. Well, you got to imagine though, when they invented us, that we had to be, have just some low level, no brain, just DNA we could basically breathe and hunt. That's probably all we were allowed to do, or what we could do. Well, when they came down and gave us knowledge of mathematics, of chemistry, of astrology, all these nice things, and how to plant certain crops, which would go well here and which rotate. A lot of that stuff was taught by the Anunnaki to a lot of smarter humans that they considered, right below them in the pecking order. Okay. And like I said, some of the Anunnaki that did not very care much for the humans because they just thought they were beneath them because they were created by the Anunnaki. But the few that were given the gifts of knowledge and they thrived on it. Yeah. And there's few still Anunnakis that are still here. And I don't think they've ever left, and I don't think they ever will. But now they've assimilated so much into our societies. They look just like us. They do everything we do, except they've got that higher knowledge and they got that higher plane of frequency that they can communicate with others like them. Have you ever noticed though that you go somewhere and all of a sudden you've known this person your whole life, you feel comfortable saying the first words to them? Well, that happens a lot to us. People will come up to you that you don't even know, start having conversations with you. That's because they're picking up on that energy we have.
I was wondering what that was. I get life stories from a lot of people, but
Yeah.
and which is, I'm happy they're comfortable, but I just always wondered what that was.
Yeah. Now you know.
Interesting.
So how do you receive information? Is it just something that suddenly you know, or do you hear a voice that's giving you the information, or how does that work?
So a lot of times they talk to me and show images in my dreams, visitation dreams. That's how I found out about Lyra and Palladians, and they said M56. I said, "Where am I from?" They said near M56, and I looked it up. I had no idea about the Palladians and all the aliens there. Um, Now, when I'm awake, they show me images and I decode them. But when it's very important, they will speak to me. That's I'm still getting used to that. So they use it when it's an emergency, or really important. But it's usually I prefer images. I do.
I do too.
Hmm.
But,
No.
I can either hear, well, this is more of a spiritual realm, but I can either hear or I can see. It's very seldom that I can do both. It's a
Right.
pain in the butt.
It's scary still for me to see them, either alien or ghost. I'm still getting used to that.
Okay.
So
Lala, I'm being told to tell you this. Okay. Embrace the gifts that you have. There's nothing for you to be afraid of, spirit wise or alien wise. They're there to guide you and lead you. So don't be afraid of them. Embrace them. And once you do that, your fears will go away and it gets so much better for you. Oh my God, it gets a whole lot better for you. Then
Yeah.
you'll feel at peace with it.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot. When I lost my parents and my son's father, I got a lot more courageous because I figured that they were there to protect
Yes,
me.
they are.
Yeah, but the thing that did scare me is that incubus or whatever it was. I didn't know they could physically do stuff to you, even and without you asking for it. And that really scared me. So in the back of my mind, I'm worried,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. Incubus or succubus, they can play all this, blow smoke up your ass.
Or
They
Bob thinks it's a reptilian alien, but they do the same thing.
But they cannot hurt you at all. They can
Right.
try. They'll try to frighten you, but they have no control over you. They cannot do nothing to you because once they try to step in and do anything to you, they're going to get bum rushed so hard by not only spirit entities, but also alien entities and also ancestral entities. They're not going to play fair. Okay. So next time you see one of those, laugh at his face and go, "You can't do shit," and walk away.
It only happened once. It
Yeah,
did.
that's why. That's why.
Am I allowed to talk about that here? I don't know.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
No, but when I say it happened, like I literally felt everything. It was very
Oh,
freak.
wow.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah. Well,
Well, that's all right.
It
And-
freaked me out. You
yeah,
know?
I'm sure it did. And the reason he did it because you didn't know that you could say no. That's
Right.
why.
Yeah, I woke up. I was like, "What? I don't see anybody."
He took
Why?
advantage. Yeah, he took advantage of you, and which I'm pretty sure after it happened, he got his.
Good.
Oh yeah, he got it good. And I guarantee you, this reason you've only seen him one time because they made an example out of him. And I guarantee you, there is no other succubus or incubus that's going to come after you ever again because he got his little free shot and now he's done. But I hate that he did that to you. I really do. But it's going to make you stronger because of it now. Because now you know that you can say no. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
You say it with pride to just put the biggest, prettiest smile on your face and go, "Yeah, that's right. Back the fuck off." Yeah.
Well, Bob, on the alien side of things, Bob said that reptilians do that quite a lot to people. It's not really talked about openly. Maybe in the woo world or alien world it is, but and it has something to do. It might have something to do with hybridization and all that. I don't really know much about that, but it's interesting. to say the
you got to
least.
think about out of all the different alien creatures there are, the reptilians are the most hated out of all the other alien races. Even the other aliens hate them. The Greys can't stand them. The Nordics can't stand them. The Palladians can't stand them, and that's just the ones we know of. Yeah, the reptilians are actually not even allowed to come back on Earth, but they're sneaking in. And like they did to you, they snuck in and did what they did and got back out again. But yeah, like I said, he didn't get far before they just ripped him a new one. But yeah, that you're right though. They're hated by every other race out there, other species out there. That's just because all they are is they're parasites. They'll go to a planet, use up all the resources, and once the resources are done, they'll go to the next place.
Mm-hmm.
That's their whole spiel.
Mm-hmm.
Jack is on the way in. There's some aliens reports that I've seen that they are trying to help us save the planet. I think there's just so much going
Yeah.
on about aliens that, you know, each race is different,
Right.
and where they're from is different. Therefore, their motives, their intentions are different.
Right.
But I don't know as much about him as I would like. But we do have somebody that knows quite a bit about cryptids, and he's getting ready to come on board. His name is Jack Carey. Crypto Four Corners is the name of the group that he's been with. He worked with J.C. Johnson, and he's got lots of stories of, and he also follows very closely cryptids and how they affect, because so many people talk about how if you see an alien, you'll see a cryptid right behind it. Blaine, we've talked about
Mhm.
that before on the show. And one of the things we talked about was it's called the hitchhiker effect. And he's done a lot of research on that. A lot of people say, Bigfoot's an alien, or he works for aliens, or was created by aliens to be able to get things, and then he disappears, or she disappears, because they're able to go into a portal and they're interdimensional.
Mhm.
Well, maybe he's got some information about that. But your origin story of having these things happen to you, and then suddenly when you're an adult and a mom and all of those things, you're able to put one and one together to make two. And
Mhm.
you're still on the realization journey. I mean, Blaine's given you a ton of information tonight about your past lives. And, he's really, really good at that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he's
It's my
great.
pleasure.
Now, I have a list of questions, and it's basically like questions to ask an alien abductee.
Ooh.
And I'm trying to get it pulled up because I had it all put together. I want you to know this is such a popular conversation that I'm looking at it in Wikipedia. I'm looking at it in like universities and different things like that, journals.
Yeah.
Here's one for Appalachian State University. They wrote about, of course, everybody weigh in on this. Sort of like abduction by aliens or sleep paralysis. And they're looking at, and they measured claims of nearly 4 million Americans that had been abducted by aliens, that believe they had been abducted by aliens. And this figure, has been widely publicized. And so this goes back to work from the 1980s. And the name of the book that they used as a resource is by Budd, that's Budd Hopkins. And the name of the book is Missing Time. The other one is The Intruders. And finally, Whitley Strieber's Communion. All of these are from early to mid, and then late 80s. So they talk about the Greys, just like what Blaine was just saying, and how they, they're really not, they're not nice. They have everything selfish in mind. But the Nordics, just like Blaine stated, they're very loving and caring and nurturing.
Mhm.
But when they talk about having sleep paralysis and it causing you to hallucinate because you're partially asleep,
Mhm.
seeing an old hag, a black dog. There's a lot of things that pop up in the
Mhm.
studies from the 80s. And people are saying, okay, did you have an alien abduction or was it sleep paralysis? Well, you're having it over and over. You're having dreams on it too.
Mhm.
I'm trying to figure out why. How can they compare the two? I mean, I get what they're trying to say, and maybe they just needed to write an article. I don't know. But
Mhm.
they actually have drawings of that children did of aliens that they saw, ages 8 to 13, and they did sleep regression and all kinds of things to help these children. But that sleep paralysis thing was still being compared, and I guess they were trying to, what's the word? Be impartial.
Mhm.
You know, try to do some troubleshooting and trying to ask questions to make sure that their information is right. I just I don't see how that could be compared.
Right.
I mean, seeing what I saw in the sky, I haven't had any kind of abduction thing. However, when I was driving down the road, like you said, driving down the roads when everything seems to happen, I
Mhm.
saw a craft come out and then it started going down the road. And when it caught up with the car, it started backing up. I don't remember anything after that. I wake up and I've got my door open and one foot out of the car, and I'm on like a country highway.
Wow.
I lost 20 minutes, and I have a circle on the side of my face the size of a 50-cent piece. Matt saw it and was like, "What is going on with you? Why? Where have you been? Why are you so late?" And I told him what happened, and I said, "Baby, feel this." I'm at the dinner table, and I said, "Feel this," and I was like, "There's one here, and there's one here," and so he's trying to get the plastic. It looked like plastic. Now I think maybe it was like a resin, you know, and all the way a full circle on my face. I guess they just knocked me out and they didn't want me. They just
Wow.
dump me out. I don't know. They didn't
Crazy.
want to keep me, la la. I'm too
Well,
old. I can't have babies.
well, listen, a lot of the beings that visit me in the backyard, they do circles all the time.
I believe it.
To the point where I'll say circle because in my mind it means unity or
Yeah.
friendship or something. Well, one other thing I want to tell you about, you're talking about family. My
Yeah.
mom would always tell me she had dreams of a black dog and she never had a black dog. And
Oh wow.
it freaked her out. And at the end of her life, she started seeing the black dog in her hospital room while she was awake.
Oh
Mhm.
my.
So that made me think right there. I always wondered what that was, but it's interesting. So I think both my parents had experiences with aliens or abductions. It makes sense. But my mom was just more quiet about it in general. But my dad, he was kind of a hippie healer. But whatever happened to him just scared him. Whatever, you know. But they were
Yeah,
brought up in different times too. It's more open now, I think.
that's true. We have a little group chat for the show tonight. I put a link in there. You can click it. Well, I'll have to send it to you, Christopher, because you're not in the thing. That's why you weren't. I was like, "Where's Christopher?" Well, you weren't in. Oh yeah, you are. You're in the group. Lala, I'll send it to you as well, just to be sure. And if Blaine is not Blaine, Brandon is still nearby. I know sometimes he'll step away. You can download it, and then we can show everybody. But anyway, you can see that what the children drew is pretty intense about the aliens that they experienced. One is a dark shadow, and it's got that crazy little teardrop shaped head. Longs are arm. God bless, I can't talk. The arms are longer than the legs, pretty
Yeah.
much, but they're not like reaching the ground.
Right.
And then you can see one with, you know, a proper alien tentacles, and then there was one that
Oh,
I thought that one was cute, and something's coming out of his nose. I don't know what's happening there, but you see one looks like a demon, and kind of looks like he's got a sheet over him. But these are children's drawings trying to deal with what they experienced. So I don't know. Well, I talked about
Wow.
Jack, and he hasn't come in yet, so he'll be in a minute. He's in a different time zone, and so he's coming in. Okay, here's some information. Everybody weigh in. We'll take turns.
Okay.
When polling, let's see how many people. They did a survey, okay, and they were 150 college students. So that would be freshmen through to seniors. And they also did an age group 18 to 13 of children. So we have two different, we've got the adults and then the kids. Okay. The experience is ghost. Okay. That's the question. Ghosts. 14% of the adults that they polled said that they had had some sort of a ghostly experience. 33% of children said they had.
Mhm.
Okay. The next one, wait a minute. Hold on. Is that Jack? It is. No. Yes. Yes. I heard a beep beep. Okay. It's not yet. I heard it. He's coming. I'm backstage on my end. Okay.
Do you hear somebody talk if we're on backstage since you have host access?
I don't. But I know you probably,
No,
you guys,
if they're backstage, you can't hear them at all till they're brought into the fold.
right. Right.
Oh, I was wondering that.
He's saying that he's backstage on his end. I don't know what that means. I'm going to send him the link again. Everybody, I apologize. I know everybody's
If
thrilled.
he's in the link, he's already there. Just got to have him brought in.
I just don't see. Oh, I do see him down there. Okay. I see you, Jack. Here we go. Jack Carey in the house.
Hi, Jack.
Hey there. Thanks for bringing me in, guys. How are you?
Good, man.
Pretty good. We're knee deep in this now. We're going to be neck deep before it's over. So what we've been talking about, Lala said she remembers some alien experiences she had as a young child through to adulthood, and she's just now piecing together like it's a puzzle to solve of what her life has been like. But she can see aliens sort of patrolling, doing reconnaissance around her home in the air, and that type of thing is just very unique. And her father was very high energy level, a healer. He used Reiki healing and techniques like that. Very calm, kind man that was big into helping others, loving others. She said he was like a hippie. And I think that's an amazing thing. Now, Blaine has gone into great detail for Lala about a past. Now, Blaine told me all about my past lives, and I'm just going to say this for the public. As Blaine was telling me about my past life, one of them, to that life and two others, it's kind of like he unlocked the next level. Like I'm saying that like playing a video game, but no, it's really true. Because I could see it as he was telling me about it, and I knew it was true. And it really helped because I was having reoccurring dreams, and repeatedly Lala has talked about having dreams after her experiences. So Blaine feels as though, Anunnaki were the ones that communicated with the oracles of Delphi. Blaine and I clearly have memories. When he told me that, I had written it down in a journal. And when I told Matt, he said, wow, there's no way he had seen that. So he just gave you confirmation. And I was giddy for about 6 months after that because, I had a confirmation. But after that, these fragment memories of past lives started running, and then I would see Blaine in them. And so I did some research on reincarnation, and I realized that people that love each other, that have a very big impact on each other's lives, have a tendency to show back up in each other's lives. so far, that's pretty much what we've been talking about.
Sure.
And we do feel like there's got to be similarities and differences in your origin story to Lala's, because see, Blaine and I are basically brother and sister. Okay, because he's a shaman. We have similar spirituality. When I have a headache, he'll call me and say, "You've got a headache, or you don't feel well. I'm going to try to take it from you." He'll make himself sick, but it helps me get better, and then he gets rid of it. It's crazy how he can do that from a distance, even. So, Christopher Fisher and I have had dreams at the same time, and we've had to have a third and fourth person as we actually went on Family Spirit. I don't know how long ago it is. Christopher, we need to talk with Mark and see if we can track that down, because remember, you were on the show and you would ask me, where did you go when you went through that room? What did you see? Because I didn't follow you. Remember, we were in the castle.
Yes, and we saw this artifact that wasn't human.
That's right. And interestingly, I'm surprised he brought that up, because I was about to ask him if he remembered. We're talking like a decade ago we had this dream. It seems like the spirituality between aliens and paranormal and ghosts are not that far. In fact, Blaine was saying the very start of the show, he had been on a show where they discussed are aliens, interdimensional like spirits are.
They both know
So,
how to exploit that aspect of human
right,
intelligence.
right. Now, I had just said your name, and then I said something about the hitchhiker effect, and I wondered if the paranormal with ghosts and with aliens, if they have the same thing about the hitchhiker effect that you explained to my class when we discussed aliens and cryptids following each other. Now, can you take it from there? Because there's no way I'm going to be able to explain it as well as you. He did several things on Gaia TV about this. And so
Wow.
I'm connecting a lot of pieces. I'm just trying to get everybody on board. So, well, this next hour is going to be intense, because Blaine's fired up with his when he starts feeling it. He's awesome. Tonight, I don't know if I'm going to be feeling much of anything. I'm fighting a migraine, so. Oh, but what a round table. I've been looking forward to this all week. So here we go. Hitchhiker effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's one of those things that has sort of upended cryptozoology as we know it. The fact that the guys who wrote the book Skinwalkers at the Pentagon, which were the chief scientists involved with the UFO program now, in their book, they have multiple cryptid animal encounters that they equated to being part and parcel with the UFO phenomenon. So among these different effects that they had studying the UFO phenomenon, they had a couple of different UFO or cryptid encounters, and one of those resulted in a profound dogman encounter involving the wife and the family of one of the chief CIA agents involved in the whole program. And this was something that was published and written about. And for a cryptozoologist who studied dogman encounters and actually investigated them on the ground for a number of years, this was a revolutionary encounter. So not only did 100%, they had a 100% effect rate of the people involved in the Pentagon's UFO program, all went home after the day. Imagine spending your day studying a top secret UFO program that you have a special security clearance for. And you go home, right? And you go home at the end of the day thinking, okay, now I'm going to put on a sitcom, forget about the day, just to experience a wide array of other kinds of paranormal activity invading your home.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happened to them. And it happened to 100% of the personnel.
Do you
Wow.
see how terrifying that is, guys? I hope everybody watching, you know, uh, can you picture that? If you have any questions about what we're talking about, don't forget to join the chat room and ask live so that we can get these questions answered.
Now, Jack, this is funny. Lala brought up a minute ago, before you came on, that her mother had seen a black dog.
Yeah, I heard that. That's fascinating to me because um, being an occultist and studying the occult for as long as I have, 35 years now, the black dog marker is something that is talked about. So it almost is a marker of specific genetic lines that run through, humanity, I suppose you would say. And you can find the black dog marker like all through history in various
See?
themes.
Wow.
And that's why, see, now that's why I had to have Jack on. I was about to spill the beans. I've been doing this research, and that's why I said, when I saw that, okay, start over. Jack, there was an article that I found. The name of the researcher is Blackmore. And the name of the article is Abduction by Aliens or Sleep Paralysis. Now, we're trying to be completely objective here, so I didn't mind going down this little road. Her name is Susan Blackmore. She wrote it, and she's taken 3 books, and I bet you've heard of it. It's Missing Time, and it was written in 1981 by Bud Hopkins.
Oh, yeah.
The Intruders in 1987, which she also wrote. I think there's no other author there. And then Whitley Strieber's Communion, 1987.
Yep.
And she's actually got photos that children have drawn of the different cryptids and aliens they experienced. And right when you came on, I was going over these figures. Now, this research took children aged 8 to 13, and there were 200 and I think that says 242 of children ages 8 to 13, and let's just say 250 because this is really small print of students, freshmen through college age. And they talked about ghosts to the college kids, and the college kids, 14% said, yes, I've had a paranormal ghost experience. 33% of the children said they had. UFOs, only 8% of adults, but 28% of the children. False awakenings. Now, somebody's going to have to explain what that means. 83% of adults and 57% of kids. And then it goes into sleep paralysis. Oh, wait, I've got 46% adults, 34% children. But it doesn't go into what they meant by that. Did they describe what sleep paralysis is? Being held down, like you can't get up, you're awake, but you can't get up. I don't know. But 68% of adults and 66% of children said that they have had an experience with a presence that they could not explain.
Wow.
So this isn't new, we're not talking about something that's really, everybody's had something happen that has questions. That's why I wanted to bring this topic out.
Yeah, that Roper poll that you mentioned also says they do the calculation. It says somewhere around 2 million Americans have had profound abduction experiences.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. And here's the thing. It seems that they have more after they've had it once, just like Lala was saying.
Right.
So, all right. I've been doing a lot of reading. Okay. So the Book of Enoch is for those of you watching, it's a book of the Bible that was cut out. And in Enoch's scripture, just so you know, Enoch was a person, was a human Okay, but he actually was chosen to be an archangel. And all the training that I've had since I was little said that if you're human, you're a ghost. If you are an angel or an archangel, you can never be incarnate, which means you can't ever be in the flesh. Well, this guy was, and he became an archangel because he was so brilliant. So I think his scripture should have been included. Okay, so Enoch's scriptures delve into, um, it's not in the Bible, but it talks about an intermarriage between humans and sons of God, which are giants. Okay, the book of Enoch talks about the flood, it came because God eliminated the tyrants, the giants, and to restore harmony. There's conversations about the Nephilim, possibly being aliens from outer space. And
Oh,
so there, now we're full circle. That's why I brought all this stuff up. Um, and we also, in the book of Enoch, there's divine messengers listed. And Blaine very quickly talked about that. I just wanted to back up a minute to back him up. That's what he's talking about. The divine messengers that talked to the oracles of Delphi, which were the receivers of those messages. So, wow, there's a lot there that got kicked out of the Bible that's so important, and it's touching everybody's lives.
Mhm.
So what do you feel about that, Blaine?
Well, for one, I know that Enoch was the great great grandfather of Moses. I do know
Yes.
that. And then in the book of Enoch, too, it talks about where he lived his earthly life, but never died, and it was taken up by a fiery chariot with 5 horses, and he was taken straight up to heaven. Well, that's telling me he was either an alien himself, and it was just taking him home. But that's what I feel about it. But yeah,
That's a very good point that we hadn't thought of. Well, it ran through my head, but everything's running through my head. So, all right, Lala, tell us what you think.
I think, okay, so I like conspiracies, and I think from what I've read, something about O negative people are linked to the Nephilim or the giants somehow.
Yeah, I've heard that
Um,
too.
Right. Because if there's a reason, look, scientists can find a cure for anything they want, but they can't find out where O negative came from. So
yeah,
I think that everything in the Bible is
Just-
telling us, warning us, and telling us a story of
Mhm.
where a lot of us came from. And I think a lot of it's true. I do.
Well, this is funny, Layla, that you have the O negative, and me and my daughter and granddaughter have the AB negative blood, which is like one of the rarest blood types out there.
Mhm.
And that bloodline is supposed to become from a higher up authority as well as like the Nephilim with the O positive. I mean the O negative.
Mhm. Yeah, I've heard that before too. Yeah.
So I did put some things out on our channels about more things about the Book of Enoch. He actually has the precise locations and calculations for the positions of the sun and the moon. That's still valid to this day. And I feel like that indicates something very important about maybe he's been in orbit. I mean, how could he have that information at that time?
Right.
And also, the original text of Enoch describes space tours with God where angels helped him bathe in a special solution and gave him a divine robe that emitted light. And, that kind of hints towards extraterrestrial elements,
A lot.
I
Mhm.
I remember someone telling me, Les Velez told me that a lot of abductions, people that were abducted, they remember being coated with like a slime or something, but it was to cleanse them, to prepare them for wherever they were now until they got back to Earth. But I didn't know anything about that. And when you said that, that's very interesting. So, because a lot of these things sound strange because we were brought up that this is weird or wrong, but you hear it all over the world. I mean, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it makes you where you would not infect the
Yeah,
alien world.
exactly. That's what I was thinking. They're putting an antibacterial on you to not because if you look back in time, it's like when the Spanish come over with all the natives, they gave them all smallpox because stuff they didn't have an immune system to. So if aliens have been out here, they know they better get this crud off of these people. So if we bring them around other people, we're not infected like whole planets.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah, it does. Makes exactly complete sense.
So if they're in, so if the humans in that other world, they can infect the other people on it.
Yeah.
Other life forms there don't have the immunity to certain diseases we have. And there's some diseases they probably have we don't have immunity to. So
I believe so. I do. Yeah.
Jack, what are you thinking? I know your mind's running.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, as soon as you say the Book of Enoch, it comes up that
Yeah.
my last book is called the Enoch Code, and it's
nice.
It's
I know
about the lost, the lost Book of Enoch.
Yeah. Okay, no problem.
You know what is interesting about that book, though? It's canonical in 2 churches. You know that?
Yeah, it is canonical. Yeah.
Now
Really
we are in Christopher's. This is his love and passion, theology. And Christopher, I'm going to need your help. Not next. I need your help all the time. But next show is going to be Mo and Marika coming. We'll have our full cast of Repossessed. But the next one, we will have a demonologist. And to get his story, I'm going to need your help.
Now, that's my main subject area.
I know it is. You're so good at it. So tell me more about, wait a minute. I want to hear about Mr. Carey's book.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just come back to me in just a second.
We were talking about the ancient knowledge part of the Book of Enoch. Well, that became sacred knowledge after it was cast out of the Bible. There were an entire history of occult groups that kept the Book of Enoch alive and would teach those teachings to their people. And that was something that I chronicled in my book, and it became over time encapsulated in Renaissance paintings because these people cherished artists in their group.
Yeah.
Back then, they saw artists as people that were molding or kind of shaping the images of the world into their, into art itself. And today we have the same thing going on, but with modern technology. So it's fascinating that even today you can see the same sort of conflict that was taking place way back then going on.
Okay, Christopher, what were you thinking, my buddy?
It's canonical in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the Book of Enoch.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
I actually have the Bible, the Ethiopian Bible.
And, where did you get it? Because I'm trying to get one. I only have the online version of it.
I have a friend from Ethiopia that helped me out.
Because it's the least redacted and the least altered Bible in existence.
Yeah, that's why I wanted it. I haven't gotten into it yet. Hey,
it has 87 books to it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I've also got the 11 books of Moses that I've got to work. There's so much to know.
Yeah.
I highly suggest that you read the Book of Psalms in that Ethiopian Bible.
Okay.
It has like 11 different missing scriptures that are not in Western churches.
I didn't know that.
Interesting. Yeah.
There were 93 original books of the Bible, and the Catholic Church in Europe cut it down to 66 chapters.
See, Blaine is he's a smart guy.
But
He's
if
a
you want,
historian in a lot of things.
but if you want to find the currently used versions of those missing books, Blaine, just get an Ethiopian Bible.
I found one on eBay, by the way. Just wanted to throw that out there. I'll have to send you the
Wow.
link.
That's
The
cool.
Book of Enoch revealed that the giants ruled over mankind and survived the great flood and were appointed as rulers again, while Enoch also claimed that the Nephilim were aliens from outer space and accurately described astronomical facts, challenging the belief that this knowledge was only discovered in the 16th century.
Wow.
And that's
correct.
why the Vatican said, no, we can't have this in there. And everybody else said the same. And that's also why every time there's evidence of giants, remains being found, I've seen research where the Vatican has them dumped in the ocean.
Right.
Wow.
Swept under the rug real quick. Exactly. I would
Yeah.
love to see all the notes and books in the Vatican's, all the secrets. I just want to read all of them.
Me and you both. I could sit there, just give me 3 days. I'll
Yeah.
absorb everything in the secret archives that I can absorb in my brain, which is a lot. And then and give me about 5 days, and I'll come out and tell everybody exactly what they got hid in there.
Right.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say at some point in history that gift was given to two different men. One was named Eliphas Levi, and the other one was Charles Nodier.
Yes.
And that happened during the French occult revival. And during the French occult revival, they were actually given access to the Vatican archives, in which they resurrected most of the occult knowledge that we have today.
Wow.
All came from that. All came from these two men's interaction with the Vatican archives.
Interesting.
Interesting enough, a lot of that has the stuff that they banned from the Gnostic and K-Bar movements also.
Right.
I have those, but I'm not going to say where I got them.
Well, I want to, speaking of, very special books, and I know this isn't in the Vatican or anything, but I'm a big admirer of Russell Targ's work.
Oh,
And he wrote several books, but one being Limitless Mind.
Mm-hmm.
And another one that I dearly love is The Reality of ESP.
Mm-hmm.
And you could get these used. You don't have to buy them new. Like I'm looking at a copy of The Reality of ESP, and it's on eBay for $4.92. $4.92.
That's good.
And so the basis of this is just that, he did some work for CIA.
yeah.
Trying to,
Russell
he,
Targ's a legend in the remote viewing
Yes.
community. Yeah.
Yes.
he taught himself. It's unbelievable that he has been able to. He's a physicist, so he's an analytical thinker. Was born with no psychic ability that he has claimed, and because he studied how to do remote viewing, he actually worked as I guess you would call it a secret spy, a
Yep.
long distance secret spy during the Cold
Yep.
War for the
Yep.
CIA. He's also worked with NASA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Army and Air Force Intelligence. Remote viewing, those of you watching, you may not know, remote viewing means that you can actually sit here and walk into the Pentagon and open a safe and see what's in it. But you're still sitting here. That's the kind of thing that people do to find missing people and other things like that. My favorite that I've studied so far was when our American embassy was invaded, and it was in in Lebanon, I think it was, and we had a bunch of Americans in there trapped, and we didn't know who had them, why they had them, who they were, how many they were, how are they armed, how many of our people were in there, are they being fed, how are they treated, is someone sick or injured, have they killed anybody, what do they want? There's so many questions. And so the government, all the ABCs of our government called all the remote viewers, including Russell Targ, and they were able to, I think it was like 78 total, and there was a common thread amongst 80% of them. And so they said, okay, this is the building, this is the one that's most seen,
Wow.
and here's how many people we've
Yeah.
got in there, and this is how many people are watching them. And it was just amazing, and actual military orders were given based off of psychic information, and that was a record-breaking, life-changing, life-altering moment in time. If I got the
Absolutely.
right country, Lane, is it Lebanon?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
was,
Lebanon. Yeah, it was Beirut.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Beirut.
was Beirut,
Okay.
yes. And well, Russell Targ also gave a certain administration advance notice of Benghazi, and his advice was turned down, and he had it down to how they killed the ambassador. He had it down to how many people were there. He even went as far as seeing that a commander had already ready to lock and load and send help to them. And even forecast that the general would be arrested and on the spot, in which he was. He got every detail right up to about 99.9%. And his advice, they've used him, like you said, for many other things. But when he told them that, they just looked at him like, nope, we don't want to take your information. So it was on them to let those people die. And it could have been prevented.
Yeah, McMonagle.
Yes, thank you.
That was his last name, McMonagle.
Okay.
So he was the guy, and he actually won a Silver Star for locating Brigadier General Dozier in Beirut in the right place. So he's the only remote viewer to ever win a major medal of any kind for his efforts.
Wow.
So,
Well, the study of Enoch was a big part of what Russell Targ focused on.
right.
It's pointed out that, and he's taken a lot of he's gone through many different religions and pulled a lot of things out that are similar. And I don't want to, I don't want to throw it off. We're going to pull this apart over a period of time, because I feel like these books that we're discussing and just rolling these books off our tongue, they're going to be referred to again and again and again, as Blaine and I and Christopher, as we do our study on Tell Us Your Ghost Story.
Yep. And Jack, I'd like to get with you. I'd like a copy of that book you wrote about Enoch, because I don't know. I think
Me too.
the reason I'm so fascinated, I think I lived during that time period at one of my lives. So that's why it's so interesting and fascinating to me. It's like, okay, you're just telling me stories that I feel comfortable with and I already know. So which is cool as hell. So I'd love to read your book.
Oh yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I have over 100 quotes from 100 different authorities in the field in my book, and they all back up exactly what my theory is. They're matched back to back to back throughout the book.
That's badass, dude. That is badass.
Yeah, and it took
Very
me
cool.
a long time, but but it's there. So
wow.
Yeah, Thomas, I'm with you, buddy. Thomas Grumley, he said, I wish I could remote view. Dude, I've been trying for years. They got some kind of spell around it where I can't get my energy in there yet. I'm still working.
He said he wants to remote view the Vatican. He wants to get in there like we do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I take remote viewing classes with Simeon Hines, and I think he was taught by Ingo Swan.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ingo was the man. Ingo was the originator.
Nice.
And it's very interesting. It feels a lot to me like giving a psychic reading. Maybe that's just because what I'm used to doing that. He likes to slow it down, break it down so that you can get your human thoughts out of the way and just do what you see. Even if you feel it's wrong, write it down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually what it is. The coordinates are what you're trying not. Your brain tries to correct things, even though it doesn't have to. And so that's what he teaches, is to get that out of the way. But it's very interesting. And I know I do a cold cases with Angela Ford sometimes. And she is still under security clearance. And she's been used by the government quite a bit. She's amazing. She's a good remote viewer. So, and she's online. I try to get stories out of her all the time, but she can't say anything. But the government does use remote viewers still to this day quite often.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and they've moved on from there. They're training remote influencers.
Yeah.
So it went from viewing to, in order, you know what, if you can receive on a signal line, then you can transmit on that same signal line.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
And
you
if you can transmit on that signal line, you can bend probability to your will. And that's exactly what they were attempting to materialize, to systemize, if you will, the same way that they were doing with remote viewing. So
Did it work? Did they accomplish it?
I highly suspect that they have made huge inroads. We don't know because it's still all top secret.
Right.
No, one thing they did bring up the other day, they have released publicly, is when they were looking for bin Laden, the remote viewers told them exactly where he was, and that they had to go up 3 flights of stairs, and on the 3rd flight would be Osama bin Laden, and the 2nd floor was his son. Well, they had a whole SEAL team go in there. And one of the SEAL team members, he was on Gaia the other day talking about this. And it's just fascinating because this is like real handy. He's like, okay, we were getting information in our headset from the viewer, from the guy, and he was telling us live on the gate. We said on the 2nd floor, his son will be there. Okay, hold on 3 seconds, and he said hold 3 seconds and shoot. 3 seconds later, the guy popped his head out, still dropped him where he stood, and then when he got up to the 3rd floor. Osama bin Laden was there, and he was hid behind 7 women. And the guy said there will be 7 women that will be with him. Supposedly they were his concubine or his wives, probably one of both. But and he said that Osama will threaten to kill the ladies. And one of the SEALs got in his ear. He says, "Tell him to try." And that's what he said to him. And he flinched just enough, and the sniper hit him with 2 shots across the head. Bam, bam, dropped him dead.
Oh wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
An Irishman, I might add.
That guy's name was Robert O'Neill.
Thank you.
Thank you. From the voice behind the curtain. That big booming voice with his fancy microphone.
Oh,
my
fell
God.
over and destroyed my desk earlier.
Yeah. He was like, look at my new microphone. And then it proceeded to go off the table and roll around the floor and mess up his desk. And Blaine's like, what happened?
That's what happened.
There goes timber. There goes his mic.
Yeah, don't mess with the seals.
I love the fact that it was an American Irishman
I know, huh?
that had it. Yep.
Yeah, he was like dead on. It's like, okay, what the SEAL said. He says this guy could have not wrote a script any better than he described it. He said that would have been a perfect script because it's like everything he said. I mean, would to the second happen. And,
Wow.
And there was a lot more detail into it, how they got into the compound, all this stuff too. But that part right there, they love to talk about because the guy's dead, so he ain't gonna do no more harm. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. It was like a remote viewer, an Irishman, saw this whole thing and said, "Wait 3 seconds, bam! There goes the sun. There, he's dead." And then Osama just dropped him like a rock. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so insane.
It's morbid, but hey,
It's still a win. And under the circumstance, it was a win.
Well, I can say this now because I'm not under that non-disclosure agreement. When his body was brought back to Bagram, where I was at, we took him off a plane, and
Really?
oh yeah. Well, this is the fun part. Okay, anybody that comes through there, as part of our job, we have to open up the casket, or what they call an HR case. We have to open it up. And a lot of times you have to dry ice it where the body will stay. Well, so we got
God.
We got to open it. Let me tell you, we got to open it up, unzip the body bag, and check this dry ice. We actually refilled it with dry ice. But while we were sitting there getting the dry ice on him, we're all looking. It's like, I tell you what, they shot that man. There was at least 25 holes in his head alone.
Wow.
That's gross.
The only thing you can recognize on the man, there was like pieces of beard where it didn't get shot.
Oh no!
Oh, they lit him up. I'll tell you, they lit him up pretty good. And then after we re-iced him, the spooks came over and got him, and they put him on a spook plane some other later that day that we never saw. So.
Wow.
So I don't know where they took him. Rumors is they took him and dropped him out at sea, but I've heard other rumors that he was taken other places to be studied. Like I don't know what's left to study because y'all shot him up like a Swiss cheese. But
makes you wonder if it was really him, though, doesn't it?
Oh,
if he's all messed up, how can you be sure?
Well,
yeah, the Skull and Bones Society got a nice piece
well, I
of
can
that.
tell you this. I know the spooks that brought him back, and they were pretty upfront with me. Says, look at the last of Osama bin Laden. I'm like, nice job, guys.
Wow.
See, they actually did the training at Bagram where we were at. The spooks had their own little setup of his whole place he was at. I mean, down to the last window, last door frame, everything. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I can say that now because we're no longer in Afghanistan and that's no longer classified. But yeah, I saw him. What was left of him?
Nice.
Ew. A whole lot of ooh on that one. But yay, we got the bad guy. It's not, I'm just not meant to do that. I don't think.
You know, it's weird though. I've seen a lot worse that's come through there.
I know you have. I know you, and you and Blaine too. Thank you for your service.
Hey, you know, it's funny though. It's like sometimes they wouldn't be human. They'd be like dogs or cats that they thought that had rabies. And you'd always get the new guys to go, oh, nope, you knew what it was. And they'd open up the box and there'd be like this cat with his mouth wide open or a dog with his mouth wide open.
Oh, yeah.
We had one kid that actually started crying. It scared him so bad. I'm laughing. I thought it was hilarious.
Hey, we haven't done Jack's origin story. It's 8:30. We better get on this. We've got to end this before 9 o'clock so we could use it as an encore.
Origin story. What? I'm not sure what that entails.
Well, how did you end up running around in the woods chasing stuff that everybody's either afraid of or they don't believe in?
Oh my God, it's been a lifelong deal here. Hang on just a second. I've got a dog outside.
Okay. Well, I'm going to run through this real quick. Go ahead. So cryptozoology is a pseudoscience that studies and searches for unknown, extinct, or legendary animals. Cryptozoology they study animals whose existence is disputed or unsubstantiated, especially those that are popular in folklore like Bigfoot, Loch Ness, Yeti, the Chupacabra, Jersey Devil, how do you say this? The Mokele Miembe?
Sounds good.
Okay, well.
Moleke Biembe. Yes.
See what he said. How did this happen? How did you get into this? And following the government, there's a lot to you. I mean, you enjoy books of Enoch. You know, That's why you've been on Gaia so much. I mean, you can talk about any subject pretty much.
Well, I grew up, first of all, in the South in an extremely haunted old plantation home.
Okay.
And so I saw from a very early age complete shadow people.
Okay.
My mother had her dishes in our kitchen shattered, taken out of the cupboards and shattered into tiny little pieces on multiple occasions.
Ooh.
And as a child in that same home, I experienced abduction experiences.
Oh my God.
So I had the wide array of stuff going on in my childhood. And one of the last abduction experiences I can remember was after we moved from that area into a larger town at the age of 18. And I can remember everything about the abduction experience, even including the shadows of the bodies as they moved off
Woo.
from leaving me there. And it was shortly after that I joined the U.S. Navy, and I received a top secret SCI security clearance working on communications for nuclear submarines.
Wow.
And it wasn't long after that point that they stopped taking me. I don't know why. I have no explanation for it, but I still have the mark on my ear right here from where they took a huge chunk out of me. You want to talk about being earmarked?
Wow.
They truly earmarked me.
Wow.
Yeah, and it wasn't, after
Used
I
a
got
hole
out of
punch.
right, it does. It looks like a hole punch in my ear. It's crazy. And it wasn't long after I got out of the Navy that I decided to spend all of my effort and energy and time studying the paranormal. There were a couple of things that happened while I was there that led me to believe, that kind of confirmed all of my childhood experiences. And those experiences, I decided, I came to the conclusion that you either have to follow this path or you're going to pay the price for not following this path.
Yep.
And
It's here. You may as well deal with it, huh?
Right.
Wow.
So I just decided to follow the path.
Yeah. Well, sounds like that is a similarity. Okay. Lala had this and the trail was going along. The breadcrumbs were starting to, and then next thing, here we are.
And shadow people, definitely. I've had that a couple times. It's interesting listening to you. It really is.
Yeah. Jack is extremely interesting. He's a big favorite for my classes. He's come in and said, of course, Blaine has since the start. Brandon, I need your help. Lala, I need your help. I really like to saturate as much knowledge and experiences and exposure. When I say students, I'm not talking about children. These are college students, and a lot of them are adults. This is continuing ed, even though we are offered, they do get credit. But
Wow.
I'll be selling the curriculum soon, and if anybody's interested in teaching and wants a curriculum, please contact me. I'm trying to get into more tech colleges, so
Yeah, I'm very interested. So
yeah, let's do that, because there's things that you could write about and we could switch out.
Oh yeah.
Wow. So listen, it's 8:45. Could you please tell me and the audience how people can reach out to you? If they have questions or want to follow up or be friends.
Who, me personally?
Well, we need to go round robin. So you start.
Yeah, let's do. Mine is easy. It's paraintelagency.com.
Love it.
You just go there and you will be able to find the contact page. And if you email me, I'll get it straight away. So.
All right. How about you, Lala?
I'm on Facebook, Lala Bright, and my website is lalabrightllc.com. I do readings and other things. Sometimes Twitter, I'm on there. I don't really understand Twitter yet, but it's Lala Bright 59 if you like Twitter. So
Yeah, it's got me alluded too. Blaine, you've got a YouTube channel. Tell them how to get you and hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, we have it's part of Family Spirit International. My channel is called Haunted Syndicate. It's out there. We have a page. We have a YouTube page. We have a regular a group page in there, and you can also find me at Blaine Rohan on Facebook. I'm the only Blaine Rohan on Facebook that I know of. But yeah, you can find us there. Our show is also broadcast on Lee's page, my page, both our YouTube pages. I think we're out there so far now. It's like I think we're getting picked up overseas somewhere, but
wow.
Well, we're going to talk about that because it's going to bounce to UK. I'm going to try to get it to go to Australia and then to Europe, but we'll see. But Roku, we've got 500,000 subscribers, and Facebook Live can reach out to about 20,000 on my page alone. Both of them together between friends and followers, and then I have my professional page. I don't know what's over there as far as people numbers wise. 13,000 on TikTok,
Wow.
18,000 on Instagram. So if we add it all up, add what Christopher's doing and what Brandon does, because Supernatural Inc. has a lot of followers, I bet you we're hitting at about 1 million people.
That's
Wow.
good.
I'd like for it to be bigger. Also, anybody watching and listening, please contact Brandon Cooper for any techno type things. He's in the know. He's like, what the heck? Not you? You're not doing technology? You
I
don't
only
sell
have
ghost equipment?
I
He
have two
says no.
friends. I have two friends on my friends list,
No.
nice.
Yeah.
and
People
they're
like
both
you.
and they're both me.
Oh yeah, you offended yourself too. Right on.
But he's the East Coast guy. You're the East Coast guy.
One's
Well, anyway.
One's got a white one.
Yep. So if you want to reach out to us, the easy way would be, of course, Facebook or that kind of thing. Yes, Tom, Brandon is the glue. He's our man. He's the man with a plan.
Yep.
Also, go to familyspirit.net. And if you reach me that way, I can get messages to everybody. We talk every day. So even me and Lala. So,
I love you. You know that. So.
I love you too.
Okay, yeah.
Who is this Brandon Cooper you're talking about? You see it? You see it, Brandon? Oh my gosh, that's cute. Who's that? Well, I want to
Me.
thank everybody for being on the
What's up,
show. Hey, Pete. Thank you, everybody, for being on the show. We're going to have to do this again next week. Next week, we're going to have the cast of Repossessed, Mo Sargi, Marika Simon, myself, and we have Blaine and Christopher, asking questions. And, of course, Brandon, too. Please, join the Repossessed team, ask us questions, get on chat. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to have a good time. And then after that, we'll see where it lands. We've got a lot of people coming up. I've got to get these origin stories out there. We're starting to see some differences, but more similarities than that. A lot of people, their minds are really growing and asking questions. It's a beautiful time to be alive. And so tonight I'm going to do a really small but sweet not scripture. What am I saying? A Native American blessing. I've been looking at the Book of Enoch. I got it all in my head. Oh my goodness. So this one is a Sioux blessing. And it's a smudging prayer. Smudging is a traditional ceremony that Native Americans do. It's an indigenous culture, and it's this sage, and the different types of sage are used for different things, but it's to purify the body, the aura, and it's also to make a ceremonial space and to clean your personal space, because sage is such a powerful healing herb that is believed to be interdimensional.
Mhm.
And even if it's not, the fact that you do believe that it is, it makes it so. Okay.
Mhm.
You're not actually able to physically, tangibly heal anything in another dimension, but you can send your love and healing. So sage removes negativity. Sweetgrass attracts positive energies and sweetness. Cedar wards off sickness. Lavender brings spiritual blessing, and it's the closest thing to a female pheromone that exists. That's what Chanel number 5 is mostly.
Wow.
Okay, all the things that I know that don't make a difference. So here's our smudging prayer, and thank you for joining us. May your hands be cleansed that they may create beautiful things. May your feet be cleansed that they may take you where you need to be most. Oh Lord. This has never happened in 10 years of doing the show. Mm-mm-mm. Excuse me. We're going to start that over. This is supposed to be very powerful. May your hands be cleansed that they may create beautiful things. May your feet be cleansed, they may take you where you most need to be. May your heart be cleansed that you may hear its message clearly. May your throat be cleansed that you might speak rightly when the words are needed. May your eyes be cleansed that you may see the signs and wonders of this world. May this person and this space be washed clean by the smoke of these fragrant plants. And may the smoke that carry our prayers spiral to heaven. Thank you for listening to Family Spirit International.